Dear students, the capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice. With this thought, I would like to begin the topic for the day, and that is active and passive voice. Let us solve this riddle. It goes like this. They dig deep to take me out. I am called a fossil fuel. What am I? Yes, you have guessed it right. It is coal. The form of the verb which establishes the significance of the subject over the object or the object over the subject is known as voice. What is an active voice? An active voice is a sentence in which the subject performs the action and focus is more on subject performing action. It simply means the subject acts or is active. For example, I locked the gate. What is a passive voice then? In a passive voice, the stress is laid on action done. It means the subject is not focused here and is less important. For example, the gate was locked by me. Before we get into the details of this topic, we should know that when do we actually use active and passive voice? We use active voice when we speak and write. This we already know. For example, the teacher gave us a quiz. And we use passive voice when we want to make the object of the active voice more important. For example, a quiz was given to us by the teacher. Secondly, when we want to describe a condition in which doer is unknown or unimportant, then also we use active or passive voice. For example, someone broke the statue. In this sentence, we don't know who has broken the statue. So we can use the sentence in passive like this. The statue was broken. We can change active voice into a passive voice by following the simple 5 steps. What are they? First, we need to identify the subject, object, and verb in a sentence. Then, we have to interchange the place of the subject and object. Thirdly, we need to convert the V into V3, that is, the verb into past participle, the third form of the verb. Fourth, we need to add a suitable helping verb before the main verb. And lastly, we need to add preposition by before the subject. Let us understand these 5 steps with the help of an example. The example is, the children ate the cake. In this sentence, the first step says that we need to first identify the subject, the verb, and the object in a sentence. After we have done that, we have to change the position of subject to object and object to subject. In this sentence, our subject is the children, which will come at the last, and object is the cake, which will come in the beginning of the sentence. After we have done that, the third step says that we need to change main verb into the third form of the verb. So the main verb over here is ate, and we have to make it into V3. Eat, ate, and eaten. Eaten is the third form of the verb, so we are going to add eaten to our sentence. After we have done that, we move on to step number 4, which says that we need to add helping verb to the main verb. Remember children that we have to add a suitable helping verb which should correspond to a new subject, right? So over here, the sentence was in the past tense. So our helping verb should be either was or were. Since the cake is a singular subject, we are going to use the cake was. The last step, which says that we need to add the preposition by before the subject. So when we add by before the subject, our passive sentence will be complete. And the sentence will be, the cake was eaten by the children. If the subject is a pronoun in the active voice, it changes in the following manner in the passive voice. Let us take a quick look. The subject I will be changed into by me. You will become by you. He will become by him. She will change into by her. It by it. They by them. Remember, the name of a person in active voice remains unchanged in passive voice. Now, let us study in detail the passive verb formation in different tenses. Remember, the tense of the active sentence needs to remain the same in the passive construction. However, the verb in the passive construction must agree with the passive subject. For simple present tense, the rule is subject plus am is are plus V3 plus preposition plus object. For example, I help my friends. The passive sentence will be, my friends are helped by me. Simple present tense rule of negative is subject am is are not plus V3 plus preposition plus object. For example, Sita does not sing a song. The passive sentence would be, a song is not sung by Sita. For present continuous tense, the rule is subject plus am is are plus being plus third form of the verb plus object. For example, the boys are flying kites. The passive sentence would be, kites are being flown by the boys. For a negative sentence, the rule is subject am is are not plus being plus V3 plus preposition plus object. For example, the boys are not flying kites, and the passive would be, kites are not being flown by the boys. Now let us look at the rule of present perfect tense. It says subject plus has or have plus been plus third form of the verb plus object. For example, we have won the match, and the passive sentence would be, the match has been won by us. For present perfect tense negative, the rule is subject plus has or have plus not plus been plus V3 plus preposition followed by object. For example, we have not won the match, and the passive would be, the match has not been won by us. The rule of simple past says subject plus was or were plus third form of the verb plus preposition plus object. For example, he bought a car, and the passive sentence would be, a car was bought by him. For simple past negative, the rule is subject plus was or were plus not plus third form of the verb plus preposition plus object. For example, he did not buy a car, and the passive would be, a car was not bought by him. Simple past continuous. The rule is subject plus was or were plus being plus third form of the verb plus preposition plus object. For example, the gardener was watering the plants, And the passive sentence of this would be, the plants were being watered by the gardener. For simple past continuous negative, the rule is subject plus was of verb plus not plus being plus third form of the verb, preposition plus object. For example, the gardener was not watering the plants. And the passive sentence would be, the plants were not being watered by the gardener. The rule of past perfect is subject plus had plus been plus third form of the verb plus preposition plus object. For example, I had written a poem, and the passive sentence would be, a poem had been written by me. The rule for past perfect negative is subject plus had plus not plus been plus third form of the verb, preposition plus object. For example, I had not written a poem, and the passive would be, a poem had not been written by me. Let us now study the rule of simple future. It says subject plus will or shall plus be plus third form of the verb plus preposition plus object. For example, he will finish the work by 2 o'clock. The passive sentence would be, the work will be finished by him by 2 o'clock. For past future negative, the rule is subject plus will or shall plus not plus be plus third form of the verb, preposition followed by object. For example, he will not finish the work by 2 o'clock. And the passive would be, the work will not be finished by him by 2 o'clock. The rule of future perfect says subject will or shall plus have plus been plus third form of the verb plus preposition plus object. For example, the chemist will have closed the shop by 8 o'clock. The passive is, the shop will have been closed by the chemist by 8 o'clock. The rule for future perfect negative sentence is subject plus will or shall plus not plus have plus been plus third form of the verb, preposition followed by object. The chemist will not have been closed the shop by 8 o'clock. And the passive is, the shop will not have been closed by the chemist by 8 o'clock. Now let us learn how can we change a sentence from active to passive voice when it has 2 objects. So if the active verb has 2 objects, either of them becomes the subject of the passive verb. For example, Mrinal gave him a bag. It can be changed into passive voice in 2 ways. The first one is, a bag was given to him by Mrinal. The second is, he was given a bag by Mrinal. You can write any one of them in passive voice and it will be correct. I hope you have understood the topic well. Now, pause the video. Quickly grab your notebook and attempt the given exercise. All you need to do is change the following sentences from active to passive voice. Once you're done, you can check the correct answers.